Welcome to Simplyrobotix, the podcast, a podcast exploring the animation industry one episode at a time. I'm your host, Monique, and you can find me on all social media platforms at Simplyrobotix, Simplyrobotix. So let me just start by saying this is an episode that is being sponsored by Autodesk. I try and make sure that every Autodesk sponsored episode is, I don't know, just amazing. It's just good. And it was so important for me to share this episode with a young lady by the name of Deborah Anderson, who also goes by Black Woman Animator on social media. Deborah is a 3D modeler, and she has this awesome YouTube channel that's just so informative and highlights so many people. And I know I'm starting to spoil it a little bit, so let's just get right into the episode. Yes, today I thought it would be fun, one, to do a live stream because of my lovely guest that I have here. And two, this is like so long overdue. I know some of our peers have been like, oh, y'all need to do like a collab, blah, 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 blah. So, like, finally, we are doing it. Um, Deborah, aka Black Woman Animator, please tell our audience, I know I just said your name, but who you are and where you're from.
I am Deborah Anderson, and I am from Detroit, Michigan, now living in Los Angeles, California.
Okay. And tell us what you do. Well, yeah, just tell us what you do. The questions, we're going to get a deep dive into it.
So currently, this is the last week of school, so I'm teaching 3D design at Academy of Media Arts in Crenshaw to 9th and 10th graders, but my specialty is 3D modeling, so I'm still working on re-breaking into the industry.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to get into what that means, re-breaking into the industry. Did you go to school for modeling, like 3D modeling, or did you do any online, like course intensive programs?
Yeah, I went to college, Rochester Institute of Technology. I did the film, video, and animation program. So, like I took an animation course in high school when I did like several community college courses, but I can remember one of my projects, and it was like I had a pool table, and the balls were like hitting on the pool table, and they had faces and stuff, but it wasn't no for real 3D modeling. So I think I got introduced to more specific 3D modeling in college. My freshman year, spring quarter, I got to take my first like animation related course because all the other courses were like film related and stuff. And so I had a really good TA who's my mentor to this day, Korabo Lakwela, and that's kind of when I fell in love with modeling. And I tried all the other stuff. I just personally thought I sucked at it. So
That's a good question I need to incorporate. Like, how'd you get introduced into what you're doing or what you're specializing in, what you're passionate about? That was really good. So, can you tell my viewers, because some may or may not know, what does a modeler actually do and what kind of opportunities are available for someone who's like interested in modeling?
Yeah, so when I go do speaking engagements, I usually like go through the whole pipeline. So the modeling pieces, I usually tell people when you open up a 3D program, everything is empty. It's all gray or blue, whatever program you open up, it's just all empty, and everything has to be created in the world. So that's what 3D modelers do, whether they are character modelers or environment modelers, prop modelers. Everything has to be created. There's nothing that already exists unless you like use pre-existing assets from another project, but you have to create everything in the world. So that's what 3D modelers do. And multiple opportunities that are available. Like I mentioned, you can be an environment modeler, prop modeler, character modeler. If you start your career, well, not start because I started my career in Korea, but I like went to Louisiana, and so that's going to be more like a generalist thing. So you might I did a lot of industrial manufacturing because I worked for the state of Louisiana. There's people who like make assets for like criminal cases, legal like animation stuff. So you could make it's not high tech, but you could do that type stuff. There's the architecture side as well, like CAD modeling and stuff like that. So you can go real cerebral with it. So there's a lot of opportunities.
You said environmental and props modeling. So I know what you mean by that, but can you just
Mhm.
expand upon that a little bit more?
Yeah, so with environment modeling, that's your like buildings or nature, if you making the trees or rocks, if it's the Sahara Desert, like it's all the environments that you're going to be creating. And then props modeling is your like if you have a suitcase that somebody needs or a lamp or a table. Sometimes if it might be environment, it might be prop depending on whatever, but like a rope, like the whatever prop a character may use or might be in an environment. So
And I also like to ask my guests, what was like your first job ever versus your first job in the industry? Because it's like not always
mhm.
like, coincides or whatever.
My first job ever was working at Mickey D's.
Okay, whoop whoop. I also work there.
Yeah, so like I I worked the grill, worked the cash register. I realized working at McDonald's, like if it's a rush, like you would be making like 50 burgers and it'd be like 2 minutes past. I was like, what is this
That's
like?
so true. Yeah.
And then I remember sometimes I work on Saturday and I would work from morning to afternoon. And so when I worked at McDonald's, the McGriddles had just came out. And so, they would sometimes like throw them away from breakfast. So, I mean, I like the McGriddle buns because they like pancakes with
Right, right.
syrup in them. And so, when we were changing over to lunch, I remember I took like the double cheeseburger wrapper and like wrapped up a couple buns and like put them in my pocket and would burn the heck out of my thigh, like because they were
That's
still warm.
hilarious. Are you
But
smuggling like griddles
I
home?
was gonna throw them away anyway, so why not?
Yeah. Mhm.
So that's what I remember from working at McDonald's.
I hated it. I worked in the summertime, and I just remember one shift, I was, like, on fries, the whole shift, the
Mm.
whole 4 hours, and that was death in the summer, and I was like, "I can't do this job anymore."
I interestingly enough don't remember hate being on the cash register, even though I didn't really talk that much and it required human interaction. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe I did okay on the cash register. But then my first job in the industry was in South Korea, where I got to work on Family Guy, Cleveland Show, and Batman the Moving Bold,
Yeah,
and Scooby Doo. So,
let's get into it. So that was your first job in the industry.
mhm.
Um, what made you take the leap into, like, an international opportunity?
It was totally by accident. So, I graduated from college in 2008, so that's when everything was trash. And so I was trying to get a job. I also didn't like properly try to get a job because, with our industry, there's what's called a demo reel. So you're usually creating like a video of your work. And I was just like had a website with some images on it and was trying to get a job. And so I in 2009, the year after college, I was like, well, if I don't get a job in animation, let me go teach English because one of my college classmates that I knew, she was like posting. It was so interesting. I didn't even talk to this girl like that, but she was like posting all these like pictures of like she was like bungee jumping and whitewater rafting. And for some reason, I asked her like, "What are you doing?" And she told me she was teaching English in Korea, and I had never heard of that before then. So I applied to teach English in Korea. And the thing was, I like applied in maybe June. And if you want to be there in August, you should apply in like March. So I didn't even realize. Luckily, like being ignorant of how things go worked for in my favor because if I
Oh,
knew that, I probably wouldn't have applied. So I didn't realize I was applying late. So literally within like 60 days, I got a job and was in Korea.
that
So I
was the job
had
that you got out there? The
yeah,
teaching?
teaching English, because back then, like, it's more stringent now, but back then you had to have a degree in anything, like, not English or like, just anything. And you had to be from either America, Canada, England, South Africa, Australia/New Zealand, or sometimes, like, Ireland stuff, but, yeah, you just had to be from one of those countries and have a degree, so I was like, "Well, that's easy. So let me go live in a foreign country right quick since I can't get my dream job."